Welcome to Fresh Start. I'm Judy Tompkins and I'm here in the kitchen with Beth Ashbaugh. Beth has been with us before and she told me about her perfect pie crust. And you use lard. And most people don't have lard available anymore. And I didn't even know that you could still buy it.
It's in the grocery store. It's more and more frequent.
And where is it? What does it look like?
It's a block of, in a blue box, Manteca is what we can get up here. Down south, it's in a tub. So it's available and everything. But
is it by the butter or?
It's in the butter section at Price Chopper, actually.
Okay, so it's in the refrigerated section and
Yes.
it's got to be kept cold.
Yes.
Do we have it here to see what we've got?
I have what's in the fridge.
Oh, okay. You want to get that out? It's got to be kept cold, you said, right? Because I know that's a big thing when you're mixing pie crust. You want to keep things cold because otherwise everything will literally flake out. It won't flake out like you want.
So we have butter.
This is the butter. And how much butter do we got here?
We have 6 ounces of butter.
6 ounces of butter. And this is the lard.
Shortening. That's actually
This is shortening. Oh, right.
There's a difference.
This is the recipe has got lard and the shortening and the butter.
All three things do their different ways to make the crust.
Perfect three. The trifecta of pastry crust.
Yes.
This is so interesting because they all have a purpose, like you said. What did you say this adds the what?
The lard adds a good umami. Fullness of flavor.
Fullness of flavor.
Yeah.
I love that. Fullness of flavor. And the butter, of course, I love butter. Got to have the butter.
Yeah, that actually adds a certain type of flake and flavor.
Neat. And then we've got the vegetable shortening.
And the shortening makes it light and flaky.
Neat.
At least that's my understanding of how that works.
Well, this is great. I'm so excited. We're going to start with flour. Now, we'll have this recipe on the website, which is www.freshstartwithjudy.com, and you can try it for yourselves. But we're going to start with how many cups of flour have we got in there?
5 1/4 cups of flour.
And let's see the recipe book that you got this from, the ancient heirloom recipe from Grandma.
This is baking with Julia, actually, and the filling recipe actually my grandma's old Good Housekeeping cookbook.
We're making blueberry pie, by the way, so it's the best. The blueberries out in New Jersey, so I got them shipped right here, ready for us to go.
Yum.
I know, it sounds decadent. So we're going to start with the flour, and you're going to dump it in here, and then we're going to put it in the food processor.
Food processor, in the bowl of food processor. The reason why I like to do that is because it cuts it in fast, so the fat doesn't melt. I have a tendency, my hands get real hot when I work, and you want it to be fast, so you still have the chunks of fat in the dough, so it gets layered and flaky.
So we'll see if this is going to work because it's about 79 degrees in here, but we're going to do the best that we can, the fastest that we can. So before we go over to the food processor, or before you go over, what are you going to put in there? You're going to put the flour and the trifecta of butter, shortening, lard, and what else goes into the food processor?
1/4 cup of sugar and a tablespoon of kosher salt.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so we're going to shoot over there right now, and we're going to get that started. Okay, we're over here by the food processor now, and we've got the 5 and how much flour?
5 1/4 cups of flour.
5 1/4 cups of flour are going to the food processor right now. And this is just all-purpose flour, but you want to use that, I think, because you got that gluten. A lot of people are gluten-free right now, but that gluten's got the protein that will let that flour expand. And then she's putting the sugar in. It's a 1/2 cup of sugar?
1/4 cup of sugar.
1/4 cup of sugar. And then also salt. And salt sometimes people say is optional, but it does really enhance the flavor. I used to keep it out of my cooking, but I don't any longer. Then you stir that together and add the ingredients as you go, as you process.
Okay. And then you just
So you add that while it's not even running?
Yeah, you gradually just add it in. I like to do thirds.
Oh, so you put a little bit in, pulse a little bit, and then put a little bit more in.
Now, one of the things that's important about the fat and stuff is you want kind of different sizes of the pieces.
Why is that?
They have a tendency to, so things get pulsed in more, other pieces don't, so you have a variation of sizes that helps with the flakiness.
Not uniform cutting.
No.
Okay. Okay, just toss that in. Now, could you just put it down the tube? A third each?
You could, but I like to get it more evenly around.
And you're handling 3 different things. So, yeah, that pulsing has got to really do a lot of work quickly. So it helps if you do distribute it around.
Yes.
Easy as pie, they say that.
Pie making got easy when I started making it in the
Food processor. I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, the food processor is a gift from God because it does make it so quick. I remember
you can see
my mother.
the dough starting to get crumbly.
Oh, yeah. It looks good. It is crumbly. I remember my mother and my grandmother just kneading and kneading. They had that little hand thing, and they had the big bowl.
And they would cut. Or the scissor with the knives. All kind. Everybody had their
Own method, right?
Their own method on how to break it up.
Have the
get it cut in there. Yep.
For the perfect pie crust. Oh, neat.
Check it.
How's it look?
Looks pretty good. You want it to be crumbly like crumbs, and there's little bit of chunks.
Looks good.
Yep.
Ooh.
There you go.
So now we'll be moving it over to the counter. Do we need to chill it or anything before we roll it out?
Not yet.
Ooh, here we are back at the counter, and we've got the Cuisinart, or the food processor's pie crust right in here. So now, let's see what we're going to do. Ooh, lovely. Ooh, now this is the pie crust that Beth made in the food processor, and we're gonna see the next step in just a moment. We got to take a break right now, but hang on. I'm Judy Tompkins here at Fresh Start. Stay with us. Hi, I'm Judy Tompkins. Welcome back to Fresh Start. We're here in the kitchen with Beth, and we're making the perfect pie crust. Now she's going to put me to work. Tell everybody what we did in the last segment.
The last segment, we cut the fat into the flour. We used 6 ounces of shortening and 6 ounces of butter and 5 ounces of lard.
Lard, which is the trifecta of perfect pastry. Okay, now we've got that all here, and now what are you going to add?
I'm going to add a tablespoon of vodka to 1 cup of ice water. I know.
Vodka. I never heard of that.
Oops. That's
well, a
we're
little
good.
bit extra there. Okay.
We're good. It blurped out.
Now, it's really important, too, to have that water really cold, right?
Really cold. There's ice cubes in the water, and the alcohol will dissipate in the cooking.
Okay.
So, and you won't even taste it.
Okay.
Okay. It just adds a certain, it helps the fat and the gluten work together.
Okay. So you're going to pour that in here by tablespoon?
By tablespoonful.
Oh, my
Yep.
gosh.
So I'll keep sprinkling.
2 days later. And I keep stirring?
Keep mixing it up.
Okay. So, as we know, there is... how many? 8 tablespoons in a cup, so I'll just keep mixing. And yeah, and usually you just use a spoon like this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not like a cutter.
I like to use a wooden spoon. Actually, that's what it says in the cookbook here, Baking with Julia. It's a pretty good cookbook. It shows you how to have basic recipes. I've actually already added to the pie crust recipe in the book. So
okay.
This recipe is not exactly what is in the book. So it shows you basics, and you get to mess around with things. It's quite
cool,
fun.
cool.
Yeah.
That's ultra perfect pastry pie crust. This is great. It looks great.
Can you smell it?
I can smell the butter. I can't smell the vodka and the butter flour kind of deal. This is very nice.
Sounds like dope.
Okay, so we're just going to be adding this, and after we get it all added, we're going to put it. This is enough for
4 crusts.
Yeah, that's something that we had to say in the beginning too. This is enough for 4 crusts, so that'll give you your bottom and your top. And this is for any pie crust, but we're using it for blueberry pie crust today.
This even works as a good savory crust.
Savory, you mean for like a meat pie?
A meat pie, chicken pot pie. It rolls out for a nice tort. I've made little small, what I call sheer terror tarts.
What do you call them?
Sheer terror tarts,
Sheer
lemon blueberry
terror tarts. I think that goes back to maybe the roller derby queens.
I sell them at the 4th of July.
Oh, cool.
At the park for our team.
See, I'm such a wimp. I'm not used to mixing like this. Usually, I'm stick it in the KitchenAid mixer or food processor. But
So
this
now
will be
it's
done in a
starting to
second.
come together a little bit. If you want, I'll switch places with you.
Oh, good. So, do we need more vodka? No, maybe
No, we
not.
need it in a cup.
And a cup. Oh,
Just
gosh.
kidding.
The old joke is, what is it? I always cook with wine. Sometimes it goes in the food. but
Right.
She's always cooking with vodka. Oh, you're professional. I can tell. She's got that stirring really good. Am I putting it in too fast? Maybe.
Yeah, just a little bit.
She's pretty fast though.
Ooh,
can you see that
coming
crust in
together?
there?
Yep.
It's really nice. Yeah, it is coming together.
Okay,
It's coming
hold
together
on one
really good.
second. I think we might have enough in there. Sorry, Tom.
Yeah, and you get to judge it after a
Mm-hmm.
while. I noticed that too with myself, as far as how much moisture you need. That's probably pretty good, and we have a good amount left. So you got to kind of eyeball it, girls, or
Yeah.
girls or boys,
Yeah,
or whoever's making this.
Sometimes the humidity in the air
And it's
will,
pretty humid in here
yeah, affect how the dough comes together.
Oh yeah, look at that. I can even hear it.
Yeah.
You can hear it starting to talk to you. It's getting like real moist. It looks moist. Yeah, so you don't really want any more in there.
No.
Wow. Okay, so now we're going to put it in, we're going to wrap it in plastic, right?
No.
One big ball?
Not yet. We got one more
Almost?
step here. That's actually, we have to turn it out into flour and knead it a little bit.
Oh, okay. Yeah, and that's over here
Yeah.
on the side, yeah?
Yep.
And this is the regular like marble countertop, granite countertop. If you have it and it's, oh, these usually stay colder anyway. Cold is good. And you want to go on the scant
Marble's
side.
ideal.
Yeah, I learned that too. That's with this thing here. And you want to be scant with the flour. Okay. Do you want me to do that or no?
I'll show you my, this is just
I'll
my
show
own
you
little
your
trick.
version.
I have a little trick. I don't know,
Good.
pastry chefs would probably say, what the heck is she doing? But it seems to work pretty good. Is you just knead it around just a little bit.
Nice. How's it feel?
I don't.
It feels good? Wow, looks pretty. Coming together
You can still
really
see the
nice.
flakes of butter in it. Chunks of
Which is
fat.
a good thing?
Yeah.
Because they're gonna
It adds
stretch
to-
that out
yeah.
in the heating process in the oven. And we're gonna have to chill this now?
Yeah. So what I do next is I cut it into 4 discs.
Oh, okay.
See, this is just my own little, you mess around with things and
What works?
what works the best. And this seems to be
Oh,
the easiest.
so sweet. Now look at that. And make sure we see that in the camera too. You can see some of that particles of the fat that aren't obliterated there.
And then everybody gets
Everybody gets
wrapped up, airtight, and some plastic.
Neat. Okay. And we're going to put this in the fridge for 30 minutes, and then we'll come back and we'll be rolling it out. So stay with us. I'm Judy Tompkins here at Fresh Start. Hi, Judy Tompkins here at Fresh Start. We're here in the kitchen with Beth Ashbaugh, and we're making blueberry pies. We've already let this dough rest for 30 minutes, and it was in the fridge, so it's nice and cold. And now you're going to roll it out for the pie crust.
Yep.
And I'm going to get busy making the blueberry filling. Now, what's really neat about your recipe is that you don't have to cook your blueberries beforehand. They just go into the oven, which is preheated at 425, and they cook when the whole pie crust cooks together. So that's one less step.
Yes.
Neat, neat, neat. So these blueberries are from New Jersey. They're all growing beautifully there now. Pennsylvania will have them in a couple weeks. And we've got 4 cups. Putting them in here, and I've got to add to this about 2/3 to 3/4 of a cup of sugar. And like I said, this recipe is going to be on the website www.freshstartwithjudy.com. And how's that coming out? Is that kind of hard to, is that too cold? No?
No?
Wow, neat. Got your French rolling pin there. And now I'm going to add to this the flour. And that's a secret, right? That gets it all gelled together. because usually blueberry pies and fruit pies are famous for spilling all over the oven.
Yes, they are.
Hopefully you have something. I've heard two people add either, they'll add tapioca, excuse my reach or whatever, and they'll add tapioca or cornstarch to kind of bring it all together. I'm going to grab a spoon here. And we're also going to put a little bit of salt and a little bit of nutmeg and a little bit of, what else do I have there? I have cinnamon.
Nutmeg, lemon zest.
And lemon zest.
And lemon juice.
Okay, cool. This looks good. How big a pie is this making?
This makes one full 9-inch pie.
Oh, nice, nice.
So it gets loaded up.
Now, but we made enough crust so we can make more pies. More pies later. Ooh, that's going really nicely. And let me just grab these here in my little bowls. Oh, this is the lemon zest. And I had a little lemon here. I could do that too, but I could just add this here. I just got this zester. It's really cool.
I love those things.
And this is supposed to work just like this. I can show you how it's done for those who haven't zested before. And make sure I get it here a little bit on the camera. Beautiful, beautiful. It smells so good.
So I've got the crust rolled out. You can see the flecks of butter still in it.
Nice.
And this is my
Very
little
nice.
trick. I don't know. Everybody has their tricks. I roll it up onto the dough, put the plate under, and then gently roll it back in.
Good idea.
And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. Let's try this again.
Beautiful. Looks great. It looks great.
I'll get it in there.
Perfect.
Yeah, dude.
No, it's still. I stretch it out usually. And even if you have a hole in your pastries or whatever, and we did a cooking show too with Kayla. We made apple pies and it was her first time. And, like Julie would say, it doesn't say, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what, as long as you get it all patched up.
Patched up in there, it'll be alright.
Yeah.
It will taste good.
Yeah.
A little warm, so it makes it extra.
Yeah, it is a little warm. So these blueberries are coming together nice with the sugar and the flour. I just got to add, excuse me, Beth, I should have had these over on this side. And this has got, what'd you say, 2 teaspoons of lemon juice here?
Yeah.
Okay.
1 to 2, it's personal preference.
There you go. A little nutmeg and a little cinnamon. And that crust is all ready to go.
Okay, I'll roll out the top crust.
And now I'm just going to pour this in here. Now we don't prick a crust that is got anything in it on the bottom.
No,
right?
because it's holding it down.
Yeah. Okay.
You want to vent it.
Look at these. These look beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. I love that idea of the little discs that you do. That's a nice idea. And because you made 4 at one time.
And
If you're going to go to all the trouble, why not get a couple of them?
and you freeze them for later. They last up in the freezer up to 3 months.
Oh, you do?
Mm-hmm.
She's really
So
good.
have
She
a
freezes
day.
the head. Really good. Much better than me.
In a pinch, because really, once the dough is made, it really is easy as pie.
It is easy as pie.
To me, apple pie is a little hard because it takes a while to peel all the apples, and
That's what we
and to
made.
get everybody to get the pie cooked evenly,
Yeah.
you have to cut all the apple slices in a rough manner. Yeah, so
That's true.
That's a little time.
Yeah, I have one of those apple slicer things, but you know what? You have to have your consistency of your apples. They can't be too hard, they can't be too soft. If they're too soft, that little windy thing won't work so well. And then you're peeling them, anyway. I was at last year at the old show that we did, Shelley Smith's and her 60,000 pies a year. Of course, she's got lots of help.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
60,000 apple pies a year. That was last July, up in Boston Spa. Incredible. That looks nice. Now you turn yours quite a bit. Is there a reason for doing that?
just so you get a more round roll.
Without
rotate.
pulverizing
Yeah,
it.
without.
Because you have, the, like you said, those flecks of, which I can
Yeah.
still see in here. It's kind of like, you ever make croissants?
Mm-hmm.
And you have that butter?
Mm-hmm.
And you don't want to pulverize them either.
No.
That's an 18-hour project. We'll have to do that in another show. A long show.
Long show.
To compress it.
I've
That looks
never,
pretty good.
I've never made croissants. I've always wanted to make them.
Well, we could do that. We could have Beth back and make croissants. They're
Shred
so
those.
good.
Alright.
Okay, so put my blueberries in. Wow. Now this kind of looks like I'm going to be stuffing a lot of blueberries in. Is this going to be over? Is this going to be too much?
They cook down.
Oh,
So
I didn't think about
it's
that.
like
They
the crust
contract.
is up high and then it just kind of sinks down a little bit.
Okay. Smells really good.
Okay.
Nice.
Then another thing we do, we get them all in there. And then I like to dot the top with butter.
Can never have enough butter. Butter's so good. Remember, it's all milk. Butter is just milk. As I get more into the dairy situation, the farming situation,
Yeah.
to let people know where their food comes from, because a lot of people are disconnected. They really don't
Yeah.
know.
So roughly tablespoon of butter on the top. And
Lovely, lovely. And then we're gonna put this thing on?
Mhm.
Nice. So who taught you how to make pie crust? Grandma? Mom?
I started with Grandma's recipe. Her recipe actually has vinegar in it.
Vinegar, who would have thought?
Yeah.
What's the purpose of that, I wonder?
The same thing as vodka. It's
Oh.
whatever
Adds
it
a depth
takes,
of flavor.
Yeah. Adds depth of flavor. Okay. All right. Trim off the excess.
Now, do you like to fork your edges, or do you just
I
finger
pinch
it?
them.
Pinch them?
I just pinch them. Crazily enough, I am not very good at making them look super pretty,
Oh, I
but
can't
they always
imagine that.
taste really good.
The taste is what's important.
I know.
I said
Okay,
something
so-
I made my husband. I said to my husband, "Isn't that beautiful?" And he goes, "Food doesn't need to be beautiful." I'm like, "Well, I think it needs to be beautiful."
Okay, so I'm
The
tucking
taste is there.
the
Ooh,
top
pretty.
in underneath the.
Looks like a little
crust.
scalloped edge. Nice. And now, when you say we're going to vent them, that is just basically we're just going to cut on the
Slit the
top to let some of the steam out, because otherwise it's just going to be soggy crust, and you do want some of that texture. Wow. See, this was as easy as pie.
Easiest.
Wow, so your husband must really enjoy your baking too.
Yeah, this is a. He does.
Yes.
He does. He's
It's a secret. Is this a bribe?
He's hoping to get a piece today.
Ah, there you go.
And then I just crimp it.
Oh, nice. Ooh, look how you do that. So it's kind of like this action.
Yeah, and everybody has their own.
You see that in the
Crimping.
shot? Wow, that looks really cute. Wow. Their own crimping style.
Crimping style.
Yeah.
I've been practicing this for 10 years and I'm still. I had a friend over for Thanksgiving once, Diane, and she rolled out the dough perfectly and she crimped it beautifully, and I'm like, holy cow, how did you do that? And she's like, yeah, my grandma made it.
Well, yours looks beautiful.
So some grandmas have a tendency to really whip everybody into shape.
Now, what's your venting philosophy? Do you put a letter? I usually put a letter.
You put a letter in?
I'll put a letter. If
just
somebody help me, I'll put their initial in or something.
I try to vent,
Oh, that's pretty, that.
so I might have guidelines for cutting it later.
Oh, there you go. That's a smart idea.
But sometimes
We have
it
8
never.
pieces in here.
Sometimes it never gets.
Now, we're going to put it in the
Even.
oven for how long?
40 to 50 minutes.
40 to
I have
50
one more little trick. I would like to
Oh,
point
go
this
ahead.
out because I didn't do it. What I'm going to do is wrap the edges with aluminum foil
That's a good idea.
because
They won't brown.
they won't brown too fast. So I rip off the foil and I make a little
Little tent?
tent or edge, and it cups around.
Ooh,
So
that's a good idea.
I usually do this when I put it on the. Ooh.
Now, do you ever put any egg wash on it or milk or anything?
An egg wash will happen too.
Okay. You put egg wash on it, and that's just like egg white or egg yolk, a whole egg with a little water, and you can just brush it on there. And then that leaves a little glaze. You know, sometimes it comes out a little bit more golden.
Granulated
shiny.
sugar on top too.
Yeah, you can. You can get enough sugar inside.
And so it just wraps around the pie.
Ooh, cute.
Like so. Okay. And that usually is the trick that's done in the oven. So I can.
That's a good idea.
Okay.
Okay, so we're gonna stick this in our oven, 425 for how long?
40 minutes.
40 minutes. Okay, and we just happen to have another one already done. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Yeah, my oven is not too hot, so I'm able to handle it without pot stickers here, pot holders here. Ooh, beautiful.
This one actually did get an egg wash.
Oh, lovely, lovely.
So you
And look at the edges, how nice. Okay, we're gonna cut into it and have a bite. There we go. I'll let you do the honors. Do you want something more substantial than that, or will that work?
This will work.
It looks wonderful. And it is blueberry season, so get out there and get some blueberries. They're coming up from New York too, but right now they're mostly in New Jersey. Locally, or regionally, let's say regionally.
I always like to cook them so things bubble up through, because that always makes, everybody likes a real rustic looking pie or more appetizing than
Well, I think you're
perfect.
right. The only problem is that, you know, if it bubbles up too much, you're afraid it's gonna go all
All
over
over the oven. Yeah,
So in
the
that
cookie
case,
sheet underneath.
Yeah, cookie sheet underneath, covered with tinfoil. You know, all about the easy cleanup. You know, put tinfoil over, then you can just throw the tinfoil away.
The first piece is always tricky.
Ooh, nice. Look at that. Ooh, beautiful. Beautiful. Smells so good. Mmm.
And this is still a
Look at
little warm, so
Ooh, well, let's take a bite, shall we? Mmm. Mmm. That is the perfect pie crust. The trifecta of fat is in there.
you can see the flavor.
Mm. Oh, wow. Beth, this is wonderful. It's very good.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming on and sharing with us.
Thanks for having me. This is one of my favorite things to make for people.
Oh, well, I can understand why. So that's why you have a lot of friends. Can I make anything? Bring me a pie,
Pie.
right? Easy as pie. Well, thanks for joining us. And we'll have you on again if we ever do croissants.
That would be crazy. That would be
Yeah,
fun.
we'll be really ambitious. I'm Judy Tompkins. Thanks for joining us here at Fresh Start. Stay with us. Again, join us on the website. We have www.freshstartwithjudy.com. And we'll be here at WISF 15. Thank you.